Hey, what's going on, guys? It's OGCP Da Silva, and welcome back to Road to Soldier. In this episode, I'm going to talk about some of the most fun I've had in basic training. Yes, that's right. So far, I haven't really talked about the fun stuff, and yes, you indeed can have fun in basic training. Some of the things that I did that I found to be a blast. And of course, this is something that you think of immediately when you think of the military, when you think of a soldier, and that is, quite frankly, the weapons. The weapons that I got to shoot and qualify with were just off the chart fun. Like, I've never in my life got to shoot weapons, and the whole concept of being able to qualify with these weapons that I probably, an ordinary person, ordinary civilian would never get a chance to use, is just once in a lifetime opportunity. It was just amazing. It was something that I've enjoyed quite a bit throughout my time there, and I'm just gonna list some of the weapons that I got to use. The first one is standard. It's something that's very obvious, something that was with us throughout our whole time there, and that was the default M16A2 assault rifle. This went with us everywhere. We carried this with us, of course, like I stated before in a past video, to the latrine if we had to go to the restroom. It even went with us to the dining facility. It went with us to our barracks, and also hung right on our beds. And it was there with us from day to night, just everywhere. And the M16 was actually a pretty fun assault rifle. I considered it my baby. No, I didn't really have a name for it like some of the other guys did, but I really did enjoy having it by me at all times. It just felt really authentic, like I had an actual weapon. It was an actual weapon, but the fact of the matter is that it felt like, dang, I was an actual real soldier with that weapon in my hand, even though we didn't have any magazines or live bullets on us at any given time, except when we were on the ranges when they handed it to us. But it was just so cool, the feeling of carrying that around with us wherever we went. The M16 we qualified with on range in the semi-automatic switch, so we were never allowed to use the burst, which was unfortunate because I really wanted to use burst. But the semi-automatic was just fine and pretty fun to use while we were on the range. So that was, of course, the first one. Another weapon that we got to use for a limited amount of time on the range was the M4 carbine. This is basically just a smaller version of the M16 and a lot lighter. I personally like the M4 a lot better because it's a lot more mobile. And just like the M16, we got to use it in semi-automatic, and we actually got to use a red dot on the M4, so that was a lot of fun, and your accuracy improves quite a bit with the red dot compared to your regular iron sight. With all the other weapons, the M16 that we qualified with, we only had the iron sight option, so it was just bare naked with no attachments. But the M4, we actually got to use the red dot sight, so that was pretty freaking amazing. Another weapon that we got to fire off was the M249. This is basically a light machine gun. This was something that was way different than the M16 or the M4 because it was automatic and you could fire off a bunch of bullets at one time, and it was just amazing to use because the bullets were they would just fire at an amazing rate. It was just gonna pop, 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 pop. Like, it was like, dang, dude, like, it was freaking insane. Like, it kept your adrenaline up. Like, it really got the blood pumping when using this. And alongside the M249, we got to use the M240, which is just a machine gun itself, a lot heavier, and I think it's a lot more deadly because I think it could go at a greater distance, and this was something that you couldn't really carry and fire at the same time. This was something that you definitely could only lay down with to lay down some lead on the range, so that was fun as well. And of course, we got to use something that was, I think, the most exhilarating, which was throwing the frag grenades, or if I want to be politically correct, the name for this is the M67. The M67 fragmentation grenade was something that I thought was, dang, like, crazy, dude. When I was on the range to go throw these things, and I looked down at the actual grenade, and as I pulled the pin, I was like thinking in my mind, dang, dude, this thing could actually just blow me up. Think of how many people this M67 has killed, you know, a group of people. This thing could take out a bunch of people at one time. Like, you know, looking at and playing video games and just, you know, looking at military stuff in general, you know, the concept of a grenade was just insane to me, and just actually being able to throw it, toss it, and as I did, you know, ducking and waiting for that explosion to just rumble everything around me and having the dirt fly up and hit me in the face was just something that I really enjoyed quite a bit. So yeah, that's a fragmentation grenade right there for you. We also got to use the AT-4, which is basically a rocket launcher, and that was pretty freaking loud. You know, a rocket launcher, we got to fire it at a tank in a far distance. Like, it was a broken down tank, so it didn't really affect it as much, but it was still pretty freaking crazy because it was just a loud freaking rocket, and the backblast that we saw come out of it was insane. Like, a bunch of air came out of it and blew everything behind it back, and you could see all the fire of the recoil that came out from this amazing weapon. And also we got to use the grenade launcher on our M16, and we didn't actually have real grenades in them, but we had little dummies. But nonetheless, it was still very, very fun to use. And yeah, so there you have it. Some of the most fun times I had in basic training were qualifying, or was qualifying, with the weapons themselves. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode and found out a little bit about what we fired and what weapons we qualified with. Alright, so in my next episode, I'll talk about something different. So until next time, this is OGCP Da Silva, and I am signing off.